Good morning, folks. How many of you thought or knew that the US dollar was in danger? Well, it's been that way for quite some time with all the printing, abuse, and mismanagement that we've had by our politicians over what I want to say the vast majority of my life for sure. What I'm mostly aware of is anything from the 80s on up to now. And it's been nothing printing more and more money, which has depreciated the value of our dollar. How we abused it? We've abused it with sanctions, using it politically. Not a good thing. We have mismanaged it by spending on silly things, enriching corrupt politicians and their friends. We've seen this, right? We've recently had the revelations of USAID and the Institute of Peace. And that's just two of them. I'm sure there's many more ways that they funnel money out of the American public's pocket. But it does put the dollar in danger because I think the whole world can see that they can't trust that currency quite the way they once did. And so you've seen gold go up in value recently. So that leads me to what's that got to do with crypto? Well, crypto has been the tool of choice to try to save and ensure that the dollar remains king. And one of the big tools that are going to use to do that is those stable coins, which is why we've got that Genius Act coming up next week, right? We've got Crypto Week starting on the 14th of this month of July. And so they're going to use that as a tool to ensure that the world continues to use stable coins, and the preferred type of stable coin will be one backed by the US dollar or cash equivalents, right? Like gold and those kinds of things, treasuries and bonds. One of the largest holders of U.S. Treasuries is a company called U.S. Tether, which is a stable coin that is not audited and it's not regulated here in the United States. For some reason, our government continues to allow it to be used, and it is the number one stable coin worldwide. But I think that'll change with the Genius Act because I think there's going to be requirements coming for these coins to either be audited and meet certain standards, something Tether doesn't currently do. But I think they're working toward that so that they can be included. However, we recently had Circle go public, right? That is USDC, which is the second largest stable coin. And they went crazy when they went IPO, right? IPO is an initial public offering. So the company Circle went public, and their stable coins USDC, they started when they first went public at 31 or 34 bucks, and they are well over $200, and I think it happened in just 10 days. I think that that's going to be that first company of many over the next 2 to 3 years that are crypto companies that are going to go public, and I think it's going to cause an immense boom. And you can already see all this happening. We had the big, beautiful bill, which is going to introduce more than $3 trillion of new spending and increase the debt limit by $5 trillion, or the debt ceiling. And then we're going to have the reduction of interest rates. It's going to come at some point. If it doesn't come in the next 2 months, it'll come at some point this year, and it'll continue because I think they're saying that we're about maybe as many as 3% too high compared to the rest of the world. So that's going to come, and it's going to create more liquidity and more money in markets. And usually when that happens, when people have more money in their pocket, they do a few things, but one of the things that they definitely do is invest more, something called risk-on investment. So you're going to see that happening with the stock market, real estate, and definitely the crypto market. Real estate's not as risk-on, but you tend to see more activity in the real estate market, whether it's commercial or residential, when those interest rates go down because money's cheaper. So people start throwing money at these things. And when you're talking about commercial property, well, it's money-producing assets that they're buying. So they're buying money cheap, creating more revenue, creating more disposable income, and then they use that money to reinvest either in more real estate or their portfolio, right? Stock portfolio, crypto portfolio. We're all seeing what's happening. And so here's a video of President Trump. He's telling us outright, this is what it's about. We're keeping the dollar king. Now, he's not going to connect the dots for you, say crypto is about this. But if you're tracking what's happening with stablecoins and how a stablecoin needs to be backed one-to-one with the US dollar value, then you can make the connection in your mind. Any accepted stablecoin around the world will need to be equal to $1 either by gold, cash equivalents like bonds, treasuries, that kind of thing. and it needs to be verifiable. So it needs to be audited. Like, for instance, I think RLUSD from Ripple, they get audited once a quarter. I think it's something like that. So that's what's going to be required for them to be I guess, blessed by the U.S. government. Now, you will have other stablecoins from other countries that they're going to make an effort to back them the same way. Like BRICS, for example, is still trying to do that. And I think we're witnessing the last gasps of BRICS trying to create a new currency. They're going to give it their best effort, but they will not succeed from what I can tell. And so what's going to happen is there will be other countries that will make that effort to say, okay, well, let's say India, we're going to make a gold-backed stablecoin here. The problem is the majority of countries around the world are going to be circulating US-based stablecoins, and that's going to be the coin of choice. So it's going to be really hard for any other stablecoin to gain traction. And so he's telling you there outright that he's going to make sure the dollar remains king. And there are many ways that can be done, but cryptocurrency and the blockchain are definitely a tool not to keep the dollar king, but to make it even stronger, to ensure dollar supremacy, so to speak. So check out what he has to say. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and bookmark. We'll see you guys on the next one. Till next time, adios.
But what they're trying to do is destroy the dollar so that another country can, but what they're trying to do is destroy the dollar so that another country can take over and be the standard. And we're not going to lose the standard at any time. If you have a smart president, you will never lose the standard. If you have a stupid president like the last one, you would lose the standard. You wouldn't have the dollar as you. And if we lost the world standard dollar, that would be like losing a war, a major world war. We would not be the same country any longer. We're not going to let that happen. The dollar, you ever hear the expression, dollar is king? The dollar is king. We're going to keep it that way, okay? And I'm just saying, if people want to challenge it, they can, but they're going to have to pay a big price. And I don't think any of them are